Okay, hand on heart moment. When was the last time you did absolutely nothing and didn't feel guilty about it? And before you answer too quickly, scrolling doesn't count. Catching up doesn't count. Mentally running through tomorrow's list while pretending to watch television definitely doesn't count. Actually, nothing. If you had to think about it to work it out for more than 3 seconds, then this week is for you. This week on Unshakeable Her, we're talking about high performance without burnout. And I promise not to mention, work smarter, not harder. Well, I just did, didn't I? But we won't go into that. This is not a wellbeing lecture from someone who's never had a deadline in their life. Here, we're talking about the real thing, the sustainable thing, the version that ensures that you can perform at your best without requiring burning yourself to the ground to prove it. Welcome to Unshakeable Her, helping ambitious women who are constantly second-guessing themselves to build the daily habits that compound into unshakable confidence. I'm Caroline Esterson and I'm in your corner. And today it's Monday, which means I'm telling a story. Because the best way to see your own situation clearly is to listen to someone else live it first. Then we'll crack open the unspoken rulebook of how power, promotion and visibility really move so that you can stop second guessing and start moving away from imposter syndrome and towards the influence you deserve. Grab your coffee. Let's go. Here's what you'll get from today's episode. 1, a story about someone who is brilliant at her job, widely respected by everyone around her, yet quietly destroying herself. And the moment she realised the two things were connected. 2, a name for the specific trap that high performers fall into and why the people most at risk are exactly the ones who are least likely to see it coming. And 3, one 2mm move that this remarkable woman made, so small it felt almost insulting, and it turned out to be the beginning of everything changing. You ready? Monday, let's go. Jess is 38 years old and she is currently sitting in a hospital waiting room. Not because anything catastrophic has happened, because her GP at a routine appointment looked at her blood pressure reading, then looked at her and said very quietly, "How long have you been feeling like this?" And Jess, who hasn't cried at work in 11 years, who prides herself on being the steady one, the capable one, the one who can always be relied upon, burst into tears in a GP surgery in Stockport on a Monday afternoon and couldn't stop for quite a long time. She is utterly exhausted in a way that a good night's sleep just doesn't fix. Jess is, by every external measure, exceptional. She's the director of operations at a logistics company she's been with for 9 years. She has a team of 22 and is completely trusted by the board. She's the person the CEO calls when they need something to actually get done. She's first in and reliably last out. She answers emails at 9 in the evening, not because it's expected, but because she can't quite bring herself not to. She takes on the extra project because she's the best person for it and she knows it. She covers for the colleague who's struggling because she can see what needs doing and her standards just won't let her leave it undone. She has been described more than once as unstoppable, but she's starting to suspect that that's just not a compliment. Because here's what nobody sees. The Sunday dread that now creeps in on Saturday afternoon, the meetings she sits through on autopilot, responses on a loop, nothing quite landing. The work that used to light her up, the problem solving, the strategic thinking, the moment a complex operation clicks into place. That now just feels like more weight to carry. She can't remember the last time she felt genuinely excited about something at work. She can't remember the last time she felt genuinely like herself. Right, let's pause for a second because I reckon if you're a high performer, this one's going to sit a little bit funny with you, not in the way that you'd think. Because burnout, and I want to use that word really carefully because it's been both overused and underestimated. Burnout doesn't always look like collapse. Sometimes it looks like Jess functioning perfectly, delivering consistently, being indispensable. And yet, inside, she's running on empty underneath all of that. The people most at risk of burnout are often not the people who are struggling. They're the people who are too good at managing the appearance of not struggling. The high performer, the reliable one, the person with the standards that won't let them drop the ball, even when dropping the ball would actually be the healthy thing to do. If that sounds familiar, not as a concern, just as recognition, stay with me. The unspoken rule book. Know the rules, own the game. So this week's entry into the unspoken rule book is that in most workplaces, burnout is treated as a personal failure, and yet it is almost always actually a systems problem. We've built working cultures, particularly for high performers, particularly in leadership roles, that structurally reward the behaviours that lead to burnout. Responsiveness at all hours, availability as a virtue, the inability to say no framed as commitment, recovery time treated as laziness. And then when people break, and they do break quietly or sometimes even spectacularly, we treat it as an individual problem to be managed. Maybe you referred to occupational health, given a leaflet about mindfulness. We almost never ask, what did we build that made this person feel like burning out was the only option? This isn't just about you learning to rest. This is about you when you have influence, when you lead, when you set the culture in your team, refusing to build that system for the people around you. Sustainable performance starts with you and it spreads outwards. So let's continue with Jess's story. The GP referred Jess to an occupational health specialist. She nearly didn't go in. She got to the door, turned around and went back to the car, took a beat and decided, well, she was here, so she might as well go in. But she was reluctant. The specialist asked her one question that she's thought about almost every day since. When is enough for you, Jess? Jess opened her mouth to answer. And then she realised she had absolutely no idea. There was no enough. There had never been an enough. The bar moved every time she reached it. She'd spent 9 years chasing a standard that she had never defined and therefore could never meet. The specialist gave her one instruction for the week. And it wasn't meditation, it wasn't a digital detox, and it wasn't a holiday. At the end of each working day, write 3 things you've completed. Close the laptop. That's your day done. Jess thought it sounded almost offensively simple. But she tried it anyway. Day 1, she closed the laptop at 6:47 p.m. and felt vaguely criminal. Day 4, she noticed that her first thought on waking was not immediately about work. Day 11, she solved a problem in the shower that she'd been stuck on for a week because her brain, for the first time in years, actually had the space to work in it. 2 millimeters, not a retreat or a resignation, not a personality transplant, just a daily close and everything that followed from it. That's Monday done. If Jess's Sunday dread or her 9 p.m. emails or her I don't know what enough looks like moment landed somewhere, hold on to that. Wednesday, we're going into the science of what chronic high performance without recovery actually does to your brain and your body and why the solution is not what most people think. And then Friday, we have Alicia Keys and she is bringing the energy to our party. See you Wednesday. That's it for today. But before you go, if a woman came to mind while you were listening, maybe the one who's stuck, the one circling a promotion, the one you know is quietly wondering if it's just her, send her this episode. Because she gets to feel less alone and you get to be the woman who refused to let her stay stuck, who reached back instead of scrolling on. Be in her corner like I'm in yours. See you Wednesday.